Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. This is the EntreArchitect Podcast, episode 101. Welcome back to the EntreArchitect Podcast. My name is Mark R. LePage, and this is the podcast dedicated to a successful life as a small firm architect. Whether you have plans to someday start your own firm, whether you're in the process of launching a startup, or you might be an experienced small firm architect just trying to make a difference, this podcast is for you. My goal is to inspire you to build a better business so that you may pursue your purpose with passion and live the life of your dreams. Starting your own design business while still in architecture school, graduating and growing and building that simple idea into a thriving, multidisciplined design build company. That's what this week's guest did. On the show is a former guest from way back in episode 8. Yes, this is episode 101. Back in episode 8, he's joining us after 2 years of development on his company. This week on the EntreArchitect Podcast, we are discussing how to grow your design business with Brian Corcodilos of Designblendz, LLC. This episode of the EntreArchitect Podcast is sponsored by ArchiSnapper, a great way to create and manage field reports. Learn more at entrearchitect.com/ArchiSnapper. And FreshBooks, the easiest way to send invoices, manage expenses, and track your time. Learn more at freshbooks.com/architect. Brian Corcodilos, welcome back to the EntreArchitect Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. It's been a long time. Long-time listeners may remember you from episode 8. And we just completed 100.
Wow.
And so it's a long time ago.
Yep. For sure. I'm still around.
Yeah. That's good. And episode 8 was breaking all the rules, building a successful design firm while still in architecture school. It's still a popular episode. People are still listening to it.
Yep. Yeah, I got an email actually not too long ago from a student out in Australia who had listened to it and kind of was asking me some questions. So that was pretty remarkable. It's like, oh yeah, and then it reminded me. I said, I got to get back in touch with Mark and kind of update him on what we're doing here.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time. It was August of 2013. You had just graduated from Philadelphia University College of Architecture.
Yep.
And you had you had launched Designblendz, which is your firm. Mm-hmm. In 2011 as an architecture student while in architecture school, and so
correct.
You had been in business for a little while, and you had just graduated, and you and your team over there had sort of just decided to take this thing full blast and go for it, and that's been 2 years. So I wanted to invite you back to the podcast and get an update, find out what's been going on for the past 2 years. But before that, let's just, for the people who didn't listen to episode 8, which they should listen to the whole thing. But if they want to know a little bit about you, who you are, where you came from, how you started Designblendz, and then we'll get the update, what's going on in the last 2 years.
Sure. So like you stated, my name is Brian Corcodilos. Right now I'm the principal and founder of Designblendz. Back when I was in architecture school, it was actually in our third year, we kind of came up with this concept of kind of blending together all disciplines of design and how different disciplines could work together. Essentially, we started kind of with a little niche, kind of doing some 3D visualizations and things that were just assisting firms. Like, I remember our first job was a $200 rendering for a firm, and it took us like 45 hours. So we learned a valuable lesson there. But from there, I mean, we just kind of started, moonlighting for firms. We kind of initially out of school, we were all working full-time jobs, 9 to 5s, 8 to 5s, whatever you have it at the firm. We would come home, work another 8-hour day and assist firms at night because we knew there was a niche and kind of a need there where firms had deadlines and they didn't have, employees or people that could get those done. Fast forward a little while after that, I was consulting at a firm through February of 2014, where we got to the point where I jumped. I quit my full-time job, took a leap, said, let's try it. I had friends and people that were working with us kind of come in, working their full-time day jobs when I could be dealing with the clients, come home, they would work another 8-hour days, double their salary for the day. Eventually July came, Tony Hopkins, who's a great guy on our team, he quit his job full time. I said, hey, let's try this for 6 months. I remember writing his 6-month contract and going, let's see what we can do. A month later, another guy jumped full time, wrote his contract, gave him a full time salary because he had more student loans. It was just being transparent. From there, we were obviously still picking up work, still had outside consultants that were helping us. And fast forward to today, we were working out of our row home here in Philadelphia. we moved from the smallest room in the row home to the biggest room in the row home, and then we got an office down on Main Street, Manayunk, which is really cool, which we're at today. We now have 5 full-time employees. We have an outside consultant group of about 10 to 15 people that work with us full-time. We also have kind of different entities of our company. We're not just doing renderings anymore. We're doing design work. We're creating collaborative relationships with architecture firms. We're also doing design build work, development stuff, property acquisitions, and selling real estate. So it's kind of transformed a lot further than $200 renderings back in school. And we're just excited. We now have that office in Manayunk. We're getting another office in Manayunk for our construction team. We also have an office in the city for our property acquisition side. But we've kind of set up different entities that cater to different markets and that flawlessly work together well for our clients, and they really appreciate that.
So it sounds like you've expanded your services significantly from
Yes.
from the 3D renderings you were doing back in 2013. Could you talk a little bit more about what services you're providing and why you went in those directions?
Sure. So right now we kind of have Designblendz structured into 3 separate sides of our company: the create side, the visualization side, and the development side. On the create side, we've been helping clients with more of a feasibility understanding of what their buildings can be and the potential that they have for their buildings. A lot of it is zoning studies, max allowable square footage, things like that, and floor to area ratios, putting together zoning packages for them to submit for new development. We also do some conceptual design. We have a box, and what's the most we can fit into that box, and we kind of help clients on that end. We've also been doing some prototyping, which is pretty cool. We have a 3D printer in our office, so a lot of times we're doing architectural models for people with that 3D printer and kind of experimenting. We've actually worked for Coca-Cola and helped them with a non-disclosure prototype, which I can't say, but we can't tell you about, but it's pretty cool. So on that side, on the create side, is really for us understanding and creating something, and learning what it could be. And then we kind of take it to the visualization side of our company, understand what this thing can look like, understand the experience that it gives to people. So on the visualization side, we don't do $200 renderings anymore, but we do still do renderings, and we've been helping architecture firms throughout the city, around the nation, really visualize what they're designing and being able to express that very well to their end clients. We're also doing 3D animations for big developments around the U.S., mainly here in Philly. We've been doing some. On the visualization side too, we're doing web design. So essentially, we've become the guys in Philadelphia that you go to for 3D real estate marketing. We offer one of the best packages for developers that are trying to pre-market and pre-sell all their new construction projects. So we've created packages that have been pre-selling over 50% of new construction before a shovel even hits the ground, which you can imagine has been keeping us pretty busy with our clients on that regard. And then on the develop side, which for me, I really like, because we kind of take it full spectrum all the way through. A client service on that side, we've been doing some owner's representation, helping them pick the right contractors, helping them understand their drawings from the architect, and really helping them manage the construction process, because we do it ourselves. There was no talk of development last time we spoke, but since then, internally, we've done a 4-unit apartment building, which we have within our company. We've done multiple single-family redevelopment projects. Currently, we have 3 projects going on right now, which are in multiple phases. One they're acquiring next week. The other one just finished up drywall, and the third one's waiting 30 days on the market to sell. So on that regard, it's been going pretty well. And for us, we like it because we create it, we visualize it, and then we end up developing it internally. So it's been pretty fun ride so far.
Yeah, that sounds like a great ride.
Yep.
And are you all trained as architects?
So right now, everybody in the office has a 5-year bachelor's of architecture, and our IDP hours have been completed at former jobs. Actually, one guy in our office, Scott Woodruff, he's the closest to becoming licensed. He's just crossed his halfway point, which is great, and he just told me this morning that he's getting his he's scheduling his next test today. So right now, the plans to open up Designblendz architecture are somewhere in the mid 2016 realm, which is what we're shooting for. On the architecture side now, we more keep it to a conceptual realm, and we team up with architecture firms, big and small, depending on the projects. So, for example, like if we do something residential based, the client might come to us and say, "Hey, can you help us?" Yeah, of course, we can help you come up with the design. We immediately bring in an architecture firm that we've worked with on 10 different projects at this point. So that's been pretty good on that side. So essentially, we bring it up to a point of conceptual / design development, and then we hand it over in a way and work with them on, and they do the construction docs. We just then go find the next project and bring the client pretty much through the create and visualization side of it, which is where they really appreciate that level of service that they're not used to seeing in other places. And I think that's why we've been able to help clients have a smoother process through the built environment.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you are either supplemental to an architect, or you're working as a consultant to an architect, and so and development
Correct.
as well.
Yep.
And so
correct.
So you're not replacing an architect, because I heard a lot of architects while you were describing all the services that you're providing who are listening saying, that's an architect who's not not a non-licensed architect practicing architecture, but you're not practicing architecture.
Correct.
You're doing some conceptual design, you're doing development, and you're collaborating with architects and bringing architects on and actually helping architects get their job done.
And I mean, it's funny you say that. Architects, what we've been noticing too in this trend is where architects are hiring us over, using us for various services. There was 3 weeks ago, I'll tell you, we had the craziest day come through. We had a 31-unit multifamily feasibility study. We had a funeral home and a water park come through the door all in one day. And we kind of all looked at each other like, what is going on? So let me tell you what we did for each one. So the feasibility study was, hey, I got a warehouse. What can we put in here? Well, that's easy. We can help you through zoning and work with this firm. They'll get it done for you, right? And then the funeral home was a rendering for a client, which was pretty cool. We seen a set of funeral home docs was very interesting, right?
Yep.
And then the water park was really cool. That was, hey, we're a development firm. We got contracted to expand this water park. Here's the existing drawings. We need a full-blown Revit model so we can coordinate that with the slide consultants so they know exactly where their slides can fit in, and also verify it in the field. So essentially, right now the guys, we pretty much almost have this thing modeled up. Next week we're going out to just kind of check some measurements that we couldn't understand from the drawings, put it into the model, and then they'll essentially ship that model over to the slide consultants who will need shop drawings anyway to verify everything. So I mean, it's just the breadth of projects that we've been seeing because of the service that we're offering to other firms and developers is pretty unique.
Yeah, I would say it's also inspiring. I hope that many of the architects who are listening to all the different services that you're providing, and maybe sort of coming up with some ideas of their own house. They can be expanding their services to provide the same things you're providing.
Yep.
And you're crazy busy doing what you're doing. And so if anybody's looking for things to do, look at what Brian's doing, and you can, in other areas, you can do similar things. This is a great place to take a break and say thank you to our platform sponsors here at EntreArchitect, ArchiSnapper and FreshBooks. As platform sponsors, these companies have provided funding and support for our overall mission to become an influential force in this profession of architecture. They recognize the need for small firms to build better businesses in order to be better architects. ArchiSnapper it's a simple tool for creating and managing field reports. It's so easy to use. With ArchiSnapper, architects can draft reports right on site using their phone or tablet. ArchiSnapper is easy to use, and it saves tons of time. And I put ArchiSnapper to test in my own firm, and I love it. Once I set it up and I understood all the bells and whistles and all the features and how it works, it's become a part of my regular workflow at project meetings. I take notes, I shoot photos, I sketch my thoughts right there on the photo. It's very cool. And it's all automatically uploaded to the cloud. So when I get back to the studio, I just log in at my desktop and I click a button and my field report is ready to go. That's it. Done. ArchiSnapper. Grow your business instead of struggling with field reports. If you want to learn more about ArchiSnapper and get a free 30-day trial, it's free. You might as well try it. EntreArchitect.com/ArchiSnapper. Check it out. And FreshBooks. It's the easy-to-use invoicing software. It's actually an accounting software. It does so much more than invoicing, and it's designed to help us small firm owners get organized and save time and get paid faster. And it takes all the invoicing and all of the expense tracking and estimating and reporting, and it all happens in the cloud, so you have access to your information anywhere you have access to the internet. And yes, don't forget, FreshBooks and I have put together a series of videos. Takes you inside the software of FreshBooks, shows you how to set it up, shows you how to get very quickly send off your first invoice. That's how I got started. I didn't even set the whole thing up. I just sent an invoice by email with a credit card, accepting credit cards, and boom, I got paid. It was awesome. Tim Lee of FreshBooks and I produced a whole series of these videos. You can go to EntreArchitect.com/FreshBooksVideo and check them out. They're free, and they take you inside. They're exclusive to EntreArchitect. This is not anything else that FreshBooks is doing. They're only doing that with us. And so if you're ready to try FreshBooks after you check those videos out, or even if you want to try it right now, again, it's free. Go to freshbooks.com/architect. freshbooks.com/architect and sign up for your free 30-day trial. And don't forget to let them know that you came from us, EntreArchitect, in the little slot that says, "How did you hear about us?" EntreArchitect. freshbooks.com/architect.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, especially going through architecture school, there's a, not to say one-minded process, but, there's this situation. You come out, you're going to get licensed, and this is, you're going to sign and seal drawings for the rest of your life. There's hundreds of different opportunities as an architect. Yeah. I mean, they should call this degree the problem-solving degree, and that's really what we've been doing for people is they come to us in the last hour, oh my God, this intern couldn't finish the renderings. Can you help us? We've been solving people's problems. And that's, as an architect, when we go to school for architecture, that's what we're trained to do, is solve problems for people. And that's,
I just had a conversation on episode 98 with Mark Tier of Black Spectacles, who is an architect with Gensler, and left traditional practice to start Black Spectacles because he wanted to have a greater impact on the profession and the world, and that was where his passion took him. Yep. He actually walked away from the traditional architecture firm. But you guys, it sounds like your plan is to become not necessarily a traditional architecture firm, but to get licensed and to open Designblendz architecture.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, we definitely, see a need. Obviously, when it's always a hazy situation when someone goes, well, can you sign and seal this? Well, no, we can't. Here's a firm that does it for you. These guys will, walk you through the construction docs, CA, structural, MEP, everything. We'd love to offer part of that as our services, but also at the same time, we've been surviving fine without it. When a contract goes out and there's a fee in there for the architect, consultant, right, that does all the permit drawings and MEP and structural, it's half the fee. It's over half the fee, right? And we're still surviving on a quarter of it, helping them through the visuals and zoning side of things. So, it's definitely, we want to do it, but at the same time, we still haven't made that 100% decision that, yes, we're going to be a licensed architecture firm. We're kind of happy where we're at. And the fact that we are bringing work to architects has been, I feel, way more beneficial because they've been bringing a ton of work to us. Hey, we don't do visuals in-house. Do all our renderings and visualization and walk our clients through your 3D process that you're doing with people.
Right.
So that's been fun too.
What do you think, since we spoke last, what do you think is the best decision you made?
Best decision? Because
you've grown significantly, so you've made a whole lot of decisions. So what would you say is the best one, or maybe a bunch of the right decisions? I mean,
I got a lot of resistance from personal, family, from friends when I said in February 2014 I'm done, I'm going for it. Let's say I think that was one of the best decisions I made. I mean, I just jumped in the pool without any swimmies on and tried the float, and you learn a lot that way. And I think overall that was number one, was just go for it. I mean, I just turned 26 on Saturday, actually. So
happy birthday.
Thank you. So being at this point where I am, I know I'm light years ahead of people, and not to boast or sound egotistical. It's just, I could have taken this jump at 32 and I'd be 6 years behind, right? I think from my story and kind of the people I've been talking to, and when I go to juries at Philadelphia University, and when I go back to my alma mater, kids are always like, "How'd you do it? How'd you do it? What's the big secret?" There's no secret. Just go for it.
Just do
it. You got to go for it. You got to jump. You're gonna do it at my age. You're gonna do it at 30, 35. Episode 98, whatever age he was against, or jump. Just go. And you have your own ideas and your own things, and I think the second thing that I have to say is most important is that, I think the saying "hogs get fat, pigs get slaughtered" is the number two. I'm not a pig. I'm not. I'd rather share with people. I'd rather collaborate with people. Like I stated about the architectural fees. So what if we get a quarter of the fee? It's growing, it's advancing, it's building our portfolio, and it's allowing us to meet more people that are bringing us bigger projects and creating a better built environment for the profession. And number two is don't get selfless, or be selfless, right? Be selfless. Don't be a hog. Don't be a pig. And that's number two. The third decision I made was finding the right people. I mean, the team we have in place, between Tony Hopkins, Scott Woodruff, Brent McDonald, Billy Wong. I mean, these guys that we have with me, they're irreplaceable. I mean, it's the team you build around you what's going to set you apart. Find the right people, take your time in hiring the right people, and the relationships you make with people outside. Stay strong to your core values. That's what's going to help it. So.
Those are some great tips for anyone. Whether you're starting from scratch or whether you've been in the practice for 20 years.
Yep.
Those are very good tips. What about mistakes? What do you think your biggest mistake has been?
Biggest mistake? Oh man. Well, for one, just to clarify, I guess add number 4 to the last one. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. It's given. If you're fearful of making mistakes, don't jump. Stay at your current job.
Yeah.
But you learn from them. Our biggest mistake ever. Honestly, nothing comes to mind. I mean, it would be maybe missing a deadline on a Friday and gotten it done on a Monday.
Yeah.
Or maybe over promising sometimes. All right, yeah, we'll get that done in 24 hours, and then they throw a curveball at you, or the rendering. We have massive rendering computers in house. It's like, all right, great, rendering's halfway through and the thing crashes, right? Like now how do you make your deadline when it's been rendering for the last 4 hours, right? So I think it would be deadline wise, make sure you can always fulfill your client's needs. That's number one. Number two is, when you get to a certain point, people are going to start pulling at you from all angles. They're going to want to work with you. They're going to want this, create that partnership, this, that. Just stay level-headed and don't get dragged in different directions that you're not able to fulfill. And that's mistake-wise. That's where.
Yeah.
I would say.
So you said by starting your firm while you were in school, and you've had all of this experience that you're light years ahead. Do you think that you've missed anything by not going the traditional route of doing more intern and more time in someone else's studio? Do you think you've missed any opportunities there? I think
that's a great point. There's a great book. Michael Gerber is going to thank me. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, if you haven't read that book, go buy it off of Amazon for $7. It's the best read you'll ever have. I think it's understanding what you're best suited at. Right now, I don't have an intention of becoming, getting licensed person. I have my IDP hours; they're all done. But right now on my agenda, my next 5-year goals, I don't see myself as a licensed architect. But I've created relationships with people that have that experience, that haven't skipped that step, that have that knowledge to allow us to advance. I'm best suited on the business development side, the 5-year goal, the 10-year goal, the 15-year goal, and making sure that we hit those marks and knowing when to put the right professional in place. So I'm more on the entrepreneur side of the business. And, on the management side and technician side, we have the most talented people to fill those areas. So
that's a very good lesson for people who are in a similar position you were 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, or however it was when you started, and they're considering doing what you've done, to know who you are, know your strengths and know your weaknesses, and make sure that you're actually prepared for jumping. Because like you said, your passion and your strength is entrepreneurism and running the business.
Correct.
If your passion and your interest and your strength is design, and it's not really business, you may have a tough struggle to launch a firm.
And I mean, in the beginning, when we first jumped, I was doing, a ton of the work. I was doing at least half the work. I haven't opened up Revit, CAD, or any of those softwares in the past 6 months. I don't. I mean, as much as it kills me, the guys in the office know, like Photoshop wise, like I was the Photoshop king, right? I knew every hotkey. I can make anything look real in Photoshop, right? But unfortunately, there's a point that comes, and as much as you like it, you have to go one way or the other. You can't play all the hats. You can't. It's physically impossible. When a client calls and asks a zoning question like, "What's a CMX2 and can I put a duplex there?" Well, yeah, you can. Let me talk to Scott. Scott is okay, and I call the client back and go, "Yes, the first 30 feet on the ground floor needs to be commercial, and you can do the duplex above. It's got to be real," right? So it's working within the team and not trying to wear all the hats. If you feel like you need to wear all the hats, I don't think you can progress your business as quickly as you want. Not to say it won't progress, not to say you won't grow, but if you just put on one of those hats and find the other people to fill the other voids around you, the technician, if you want to be the manager and you want to manage every project and design everything, well, that's great. Find the person that's going to run the business and find the people that are going to do the work for you. If you don't, so I think that, lesson, what's that, number 5 now? That would be, wear the hat that you're most passionate about.
Yeah, that's very good advice. That's really a major key to our success at Five Cat Studio as well, is that Anne-Marie is passionate about design, and she is a fabulous architect, and my passion is business and building a business, and so the two of us, and I don't do any design anymore. I love it. I like to draw. I like to design, but that's my passion is the business. And I stick with the business, and Anne-Marie sticks with the design, and it works. And so I think that's great advice. It's interesting to talk to you today as opposed to 2 years ago, because you've matured quite a bit as well. I hear it in your voice. I hear it in the things you're saying. If you listen to episode 8, it's a very different Brian, which is good. I think that's a great thing to do is to see that growth, because 2 years is quite a bit, but 2 years from coming right out of architecture school and having all of that experience, you've sort of compacted 10 years of somebody else's development into 2 years, and it
also comes down to it's a mental thing for one. For sure. It's very, I'm not mature enough yet. It's a mental thing. If you're positive enough, you know what you want to do, you can do it. The second thing I think that's kind of played into that was the people I deal with on a daily basis. I get phone calls from the principals of firms that are managing 200 people, and they call us, "Hey, Brian, we need 8 hours of Designblendz this time today. Can you help us out?" Right? So I'm dealing with the heads of these different organizations that usually, even if you work there, you might not either interface with them. You might see them at a holiday party, right? So having that different level of integration with these different principals and heads of firms and lead designers has also shown me, given me almost a role model in a way to follow. Like, oh wow, this is how these guys run their stuff. This is how these firms are operating, and there's a lot to be learned from that for sure.
Yeah. Now with everything that and you have lots of time to go ahead. I mean, you're still very young, and your firm is very young. But everything that you've learned to this point, would you? Because then I think in episode 8 you recommended that that other architecture students do what you did. Would you still recommend that other architecture students do what you did?
I would love to say yes immediately. Yes, go for it, do it. But know that it's a struggle. It's not for everybody. It can't be. It's not. I mean, there's been times where I wanted to give up and say, nope, I'm going to go do this and go back and just do this that way, and it's going to happen to you. And it takes the right mental state to do it. It really does. I mean, that's all I can really comment on that now. I mean, I think back then, I was still a little immature. I was like, oh no, let's go for it. Let's do it. But it was still maintaining that positive attitude and that positive mentality, saying, you know what, maybe I can do it. Maybe, and if the positive, words in your mind and the positive people you're surrounding yourself with outweigh the negatives, I think it's possible. If anything is. So.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I mean, it's positive mind and confidence, and surrounding your people with the right people, surrounding yourself with the right people is so important, at any point when you launch your firm, even if you do go through the entire, internship process and then decide, to start your own firm. Everything that you're describing is things that we all need to do and learn. So, great information. It's great to talk to you. Your studio is Designblendz, so it's DESIGNBLENDZ. So Designblend with a Z on the end of it.
I say that at least once a day. Z with a zebra. Z as in zebra.
That's right. Designblendz with a zebra. Your little place on the world on the internet is designblendz.com. If anybody's interested in checking you out there or working with you, you're on Twitter at Designblendz.
Yep.
So you're all over. Is there any place else that anybody might want to reach out? If somebody has any questions for you, where should they reach out to you?
You can send it to Brian at designblendz.com. That would be fine. I'll get to it. I promise. The guys in the office refer to my email as a black hole, but it does get answered, as you probably well know, right?
Yeah.
It comes, you get to it. But yeah, you can definitely reach me there for sure. I'd be happy to answer any questions or give any advice as possible.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, and thanks for sharing your knowledge here today at the EntreArchitect Podcast.
Great. Thanks for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
We're growing here at EntreArchitect, and it only happens because of you, with your help. So share a link to this episode. Go to your email right now and send a link for EntreArchitect.com/episode 101. Send it to all of your friends. Email it to every architect you know, because this is how we're going to spread the word. This is how we're going to build better businesses. This is how we're going to influence the profession and become better architects. I appreciate your support, and I thank you for spreading the word. So go share it right now. Don't forget. Complete show notes and a direct link to this episode can be found at EntreArchitect.com/episode 101. And a great way to not miss any episode or any blog that we write at EntreArchitect is to subscribe. Subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. I send you a personal letter, and I have a link to the blog, and I have a link to the podcast every week. Never miss it. EntreArchitect.com/newsletter. Sign up. It's free. It's awesome. My name is Mark Arlepage, and I am an entrepreneur architect. And I encourage you to go share what you know. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Imagine earning continuing education credits while doing exactly what you're doing right now. Well, you can. Gable Media has revolutionized the way you earn your continuing education credits with a groundbreaking approach. Forget running around town and scouring the internet for credit-worthy courses. Fulfill your CE requirements effortlessly by listening to engaging podcasts just like the one you're listening to now. Our podcasts are designed to educate, entertain, and inspire, all in a user-friendly environment. But wait, there's more. Architects, Gable Media is also approved as an AIA continuing education services provider. Upon completion, we handle everything, from reporting your hours directly to the AIA to storing your certificates in your personal Gable Media profile for your self-reporting needs. So follow the link in the show notes and start earning your credits in the most innovative and entertaining way possible with Gable Media.
Attention architects and creative minds. Get ready to supercharge your brand with Build Your Brand, the podcast that's unlocking the secrets of branding success for creatives. Hey there, it's Mark Arlepage, founder of EntreArchitect, and I'm inviting you to join my friend, architect marketing expert Jeff Eccles at Build Your Brand Podcast, where he explores the captivating stories of the world's top brands and transforms their lessons into powerful moves for small firm architects and creatives like you. In Season 1, Jeff shares the thrilling tale of Southwest Airlines, where he dissects their journey to the summit and distills it into strategies tailor-made for you.
It's important to keep in mind that companies like Southwest compete in the real world, just like you, and face real-world challenges, just like you. You might be surprised at how similar those challenges are to the struggles that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis.
Don't miss out on your blueprint for success. Subscribe, tune in, and let's build your brand together.
You may have noticed that the very best brands in the world are also known for having somewhat unique corporate cultures. That's often the glue that holds everything together when they encounter those rough spots.
We don't do it because it inconveniences the passengers to whom we are primarily dedicated, the short-haul, frequent flyer.
Follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Your Brand today. Remember, no matter the size, the journey's the same. Your brand's journey to the top starts here.